Get out on the lake, let's go fishing. Just where we'll point that boat, nobody knows. Well, we don't know if it's gonna be feast or famine. So sit your ass back and enjoy the Big John Show. Let it go! Watch that stump over.
Alright guys, welcome back lifers. So today we're going to bring you an update of kind of what we've done this year to prepare for deer season on our property. This is the small little section that I may or may not have mentioned in the introducing video. We have a few acres back here that I hunt, and basically we're going to make sure that the creek and the trail right here to where we want to have the stands cleared out, which we came through and cleared that out already at one point. And we went ahead and moved the feeder. We actually have an interior fence on this property because we had horses at one point, so I actually took and opened up some spots in those fences to allow the deer to move through the fences right there rather than to have to hop the fence. And the plan is to pull them a little bit further down into the property, make them a little bit more comfortable on the property. There's not a lot of property to work with to keep them on it full time, but if we can keep them on the property as much as possible, that'll benefit us the best, because the more they're on the property, the more opportunities we have at them. But we have our trail right here. We're going to make sure it's nice and cleared out. But as you can see, we got most of it cleared out off down in here. We can walk down in here pretty good. Grab the cutters. We're going to step off down in here. Alright. So now, alright guys, so now we're down in the creek, and as you can see, the house is literally right there behind us. And the stand we plan on putting up will be somewhere right in there in them cluster of trees. We'll kind of show y'all better when we get up there, but we're going to go ahead and follow up this trail right here, show y'all kind of what we're working with. Oh, we got some lighting, but there's a trail right behind us. We're gonna show y'all what we're working with. It's kind of right here, and it just leads right up to where we got the feeder and everything. We're gonna get up there and show y'all. But we made it to the tree that we plan on putting the stand in, and the feeder's just on the other side of these little pines. But we're going to go ahead and step up there, kind of show y'all. The stand may end up there, or there's a cluster of trees just behind this one that it may end up in. Alright guys, so we're up here by the feeder. Pretty much what we're looking at from here is the deer like to come from right up there, and there's a spot just over there that's broken in the fence. Right about there. So there's a spot there that they like to come through, and they like to come through right there, and just beyond these little pines is the next fence, and then about 10 yards, 15 yards behind that's the property line. So the plan is to pull them down further to the feeder. The plan is to put a stand in that tree. We may end up putting it in like this cluster right here, but house access, the creek that we walked in is right down there. We just walk right up through there, come straight up. We could come straight up to that tree, or we could walk right up through there, stay along this, and climb right up in that tree. But we kind of got this all set up we still got to get corn and batteries in the feeder. We still need to put the stand up, which we may not do this year. I'm kind of getting it prepped more for next year. We may hunt it a little bit this year, more into gun season. But as of now, we're just kind of trying to improve upon the property. So best we can do is try to keep them on here as long as possible with as little property as we got. There's a pond just off the property, so they like to come and drink out of that pond. If we can provide food, and I think allow them to be a little more comfortable further down on the property to where they're more apt to come in the back of the property and stuff, we'll have more opportunities at deer and more opportunities at the bucks, because the bucks used to just run the fence. They could see the feeder from the fence, so they used to run the fence and they would stop, look at the feeder for a minute, and then continue on unless there was doe standing there. Then they would hop the fence and come in, eat, chase does, whatever that may be. But as of right now, we're just kind of getting it prepped and ready for next year, more so than this year. But we may end up doing some hunting on it this year. So y'all can stick around for that for sure. I shot a nice buck back here 2 years ago. He actually broke part of his rack off, so he wasn't as big as he should have been, but it was a nice bow buck. I actually shot him just right about there, and I was sitting in a box stand we had made, and we made it more for bow hunting, so it's a little bit longer rather than just wide. So we did that. But the plan is we might end up moving that box down here too to hunt out of. We may just leave it there. We haven't checked it for wasp or anything. But the plan for sure is to try to get one in that tree right there. So we're going to try to get a stand in that tree is the hopes. If not, and that tree seems like it's a little too open once we get it up there, we'll go ahead and move it to this cluster right back here behind us. But I don't want to get too up on the feeder, so that tree is probably going to be the best bet. And we're pretty much just prepping this for this year. We'll show y'all when we put batteries in the feeder, get stands up. We're going to do a little bit of brush hogging back here because we got to knock down some of this stuff because the power line right away is right there. So we got to keep stuff cut down for them, otherwise they'll come through and spray a bunch of nasty stuff, and it kills a lot of stuff when it does. So we try to keep that cut down so that they don't come through here spraying. And usually if you keep it cut down, they don't spray through here. They'll just pass it on by because it's so close to the houses. They'll just go ahead and stop and go on by the houses and then start spraying again. But if you got too much stuff, they'll go ahead and spray damn near up to your house. But plans to get it in that tree. Make sure we got good trails. We may end up just doing a little ground hunt in these pines or something if we don't get anything set up. But basically make sure the trail stays clear, get the feeder with some corn and get it working. And next year we'll be putting a food plot in here too, because we'll have a lot of this brush hogged, and so we'll be able to get a food plot in. But as for everything else, that's pretty much the update. There's not a whole lot to this property. Basically, that is a bridge you can enter over there. That's the creek. The corner is right back there, and the other corner is literally about 60 yards that way. So there's not a whole lot here to work with. Quite a bit of it's open, so it does make it a bit challenging, but we've gotten quite a few deer off of it, and we've kind of figured out how they use it and better understand the way that they want to move through it. And we're going to try to manipulate that now. Now that we know how they like to use it, we're going to try to manipulate it pretty much. So stick along for that. If y'all want to watch, stick along, watch how we change kind of how these deer move, because a lot of them were staying really high in the property. Not a lot of them came real far down unless it was, you know, the months that you're not doing any hunting. So like the springtime, the summertime, we see them back here all the time. Like times right now just before season, they will be back in here, but they're not staying, they're not hanging out. So as soon as fall comes and all the hunting starts happening and we start creating a little bit of pressure on this property, with it not being very big, as soon as you create a little bit of pressure here, they immediately go off. So the plan is we're going to set up our stands, make the least amount of pressure possible, that way we can get the most hunts out of it, and try to make the property where we can keep deer on it as much as possible. We're not going to probably be able to have them bed and do all sorts of the stuff that the big property people do, but we're going to be able to make some changes and probably keep the deer on here a bit longer, maybe get them to daylight a lot more often. So we're going to work towards that, and hopefully this was a good update for y'all. I'm glad to be taking over some film time for Big John, that way he can continue to do what he needs to do. And thank you, Big John, for all this, and we're going to keep y'all updated on the property. We're probably going to shoot some baits and make some videos on that for y'all here soon. We're also going to be hunting here soon. Hunting season, it is Saturday now. Hunting season exactly a week away, or archery season. So be looking forward to some hunting videos in the next week or two. So we enjoy y'all watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll be back with y'all with another video here soon.